My name is Shada Upshaw. I'm 19. I am a teacher assistant at Preschool Wooden Shoe. I've been a teaching assistant for a year full-time and a year part-time, and I'm trying to get my group lead because I want to be able to assure my job at the Wooden Shoe as I'm doing my college classes to be a child psychologist in the future. The reason I want to be a child psychologist is because I didn't grow up in the best environments, and I know how it feels to not have a teacher understand when you have things like social anxiety, separation anxiety, OCD, PTSD, stuff like that I have, and to have a hard time being away from your parents and, you know, like just being nervous overall about being in that setting. Like, I understand it, and I felt that I had a lot of teachers who didn't understand it as I was growing up. So I kind of feel that my role is to get into these children's lives and kind of show them that, like, some people understand, some people don't, and like I can help them if they're going through issues that I went through, same kind of struggles. Like I said, environments have a giant impact on kids' lives. I think they're really the base of what your kid is gonna be able to figure out as they're growing up. Like, it's kind of setting them up to keep going up levels. So if a kid doesn't have a good start, then the ending's not going to be as great. They're going to have to catch up. Like, I had to catch up because all until 3rd grade I couldn't even go to school without my grandma because of my separation anxiety. So I really feel that environment is a huge impact on what kids need to grow up. They need that environment to help them thrive and to help them grow. So speaking of environments, at my work we have a pretty big classroom. It's about 45 feet by like 25 feet. We have a gym, we have a pool, we have a giant field, we have, we have science class, we have dramatic play, we have our group, we have table centers, floor centers. We encourage these kids to play with multiple of them through the day. Some days we'll have gym and science, some days we'll have swimming, gym, group play. Like, we try and really incorporate a lot of it into their days, but we also do it in a way that's very organized. Our classroom's super organized. The kids know exactly where everything goes. They know where the toys go. They know when it's time to be done doing something. For example, like, I'll say, hey, it's time to clean up, and they'll be like, oh, it's lunchtime. Like, they know. This helps them, like, with their routine because they know that it's lunchtime because I told them, clean up. So the way that our classroom is really helps the kids figure out what's going on next. Like I said, I also tell them, like, hey, it's time to clean up. Like, I have to guide them. Like, I have to be the one that says, this is what we're doing next, but they get it. They understand that when it's time to clean up, that they're doing lunch next or they're doing recess next. Some of the theorists I talked about, I really liked how they talked about how kids are communicating with us by not communicating with us. Like, for example, Adler's theory talks about how there's mistaken goals. I really liked reading about this because I found it really interesting, and I thought it might be something I might learn in psychology. Essentially, it's when a kid is misbehaving or they're throwing a fit for like attention or something, or they're doing something specific to get a specific reaction from us. I never really thought about this theory before, but after reading about it, I realized how true it is and how often kids actually do this. And even as I was at work today for 8.5 hours, I realized, like, wow, like, kids really are just trying to get attention, or they really are misbehaving to do another thing. They're just trying to, like, communicate in a way. So I found that theory really cool. Observation, documentation. We talk about documentation all the time at my work, constantly. You need to write things down. If you see patterns, you need to write it down. We have an entire clipboard full of notes that's just like, oh, like this student did this today because of this, or this student did this today and I've never seen this, I might be worried about it, like, and then we assign our names, write the date, and then if we start seeing it often enough, we'll like talk to our directors about it. If a kid did get hurt though, we always have to fill out an incident report and give it to the office, and the office talks to their parents, unless it's something that we can tell them when the parents come to pick up. Like, if a kid falls outside and they scrape their knee, we can put a band-aid on it, we clean it up, and then we can talk to their parents when they get here. But other than that, that's the only kind of documentation that we're using is incident reports, and we fill out our clipboards 24/7 all the time, writing notes about these kids. So yes, that's it for observation and documentation. It's very fast, very easy, nice to keep track of. Guidance strategies in general, I really feel like guidance is something that's such a bold word for something that's so general, but if you're not doing it right, it doesn't even matter. At the end of the day, these kids are going to be who they're going to be when they grow up. I am not at all the person I expected myself to be in any way, shape, or form. I never even imagined working at a school because of the experience I had with schools. Kids are just, they're wonderful. They're going to be exactly who they want to be. They are all so different, and they all have such separate reactions to things, and I really just genuinely believe that we're just helping kids to figure out who they're going to be in the future. Guidance is just helping them help themselves to figure out what's going to go on in their lives. Like, we're just setting them up for success, essentially, and if you're not doing a good job, that's just going to heavily impact them. So that's how I feel about that. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you had fun in this class as I did, and I hope that you guys learned as much as I did. So